G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome back aboard the HAWKS. Now, since unlocking all the aircraft in the game, I've been going about playing a lot of low levels, spading all the aircraft that I never fully completed or never really flew at all, since I started the game. And the HAWKS were a line that I never touched at any time during my progression through the game, so they were all stock. This is my first fly out in the P-36C, the second of the HAWKS in the sequence. Now, I was hoping for some fairly reasonable competition in this match. My first fly out in the Hawk A, I wound up against the very first of the BF-109 series, and I thought, maybe get the same fighters again and this would make for an excellent battle. Unfortunately, what I got for this battle was a total round of kicking puppies, and this is the kind of match that the Hawk is capable of getting on the other end of the scale. The enemy team is nothing but HE-51s and a single HE-111. As you can imagine, this battle didn't last particularly long. First kill's already up, and the match has only been going for about 3 minutes. Pretty much all fighters from both teams have met over point C, and I'm just beginning my culling. Now, as far as I can tell, the Hawk C is almost an identical aircraft to the Hawk A. It just has a few extra 7.62mm machine guns. So with the first kill down, second HE-51's low. I'm not sure what he was trying to do here. He may have been an arcade player trying to progress into realistic, because he attempted to land as if he was attempting to catch the runway. So I execute him on the dirt. Bring it around hunting for my third target. Now, as much as the matchmaking wasn't particularly fair on this, at least the match didn't last long. But this was the only match I needed to fly in order to max out the Hawk C. So moving on target 3. And there's my third kill. Now, my team in this match mostly consists of pea shooters, but they're all variant with the single 7.62mm and the single 50 caliber machine gun. So they're doing to the enemy team pretty much the same thing that I'm doing right now. Lining up. Now, this would have been kill 4, but right as I was getting ready for the kill shot, the other Hawk on our team, a P-36A model, decided to ram the target out, causing a crash for both of them. Completely unneeded. I'm not entirely sure why he did it. But I managed to get some hits in beforehand, so that's extra score, and from here it was pretty much take out AI. I have one AI that's locked on my tail at the moment. I'm not too worried about him. Moving on the second HE-51 AI. Just getting into optimal gun range. Rip the guns across. The AI manages to pull out, close back in again. The roll rate on the stock Hawk is still not particularly impressive in any of the models. It is fast and it is still great in the vertical. So there's kill 4. Now I'm just going to swing it around and take out that AI that was following me. There he is on my tail. So just stand it over on its side. Stand on the elevators and drop combat flaps. Wep to cross over the AI's guns fast. Line up behind. Put the shots in, and that's the critical that kills him, and that is pretty much the end of this match. So that was 5 kills. So 5 kills, 3 players, 2 AI, 1 assist, final blow, survivor, terror of the sky, 40,792 silver lions and 5,632 mod research points. It was a total seal clubbing match that the matchmaker delivered, but at least it didn't last long. The enemy team only had to put up with that for about 7.5 minutes. And that match was all it was required to spade the Hawk. So with the P-36C done, time to go on to the P-36G, the top level Hawk. Now, my first match in this Hawk was a little bit more interesting. Now, this is Hokkaido. My team consists of aircraft up to the B-25, including F-4U Corsairs. There is a P-38G on our team. There is A-20Gs. This is pretty much the maximum tier-up match you can get in the P-36G, and this is my first flyout in the aircraft. Now, I'm going to skip forward through the first part of this mission because it honestly took quite some time for this battle to really get going for me. I stayed at relatively low altitudes. The F-4Us and the Spitfires initially began the fight at a high altitude. Now, due to the nature of this battle, it took almost 8 minutes before I got to pull the trigger on an enemy target for the first time. A Wellington flying at low altitude. I'm actually the first of the targets going through to boom, put a burst straight into the right engine nacelle, go straight underneath and take it back in. An F-4U comes in straight underneath me and promptly rips it in half. So that was my first assist in the match. Then I went back to playing the waiting game. Now we're another 8 minutes on, and finally something interesting's happened. An F-4U has been chased out of the sky by a Beaufighter 7. The Beaufighter has made a turn back. It has taken minor damage from the F-4U, but nothing too serious. It's leaking oil, but it's still fully combat capable. The F-4U has been crippled. He's vacating out of the area as much as he can, so I turn back to engage the Beaufighter. Beaufighter passes overhead, so I take it into a loop to fall onto his tail. Drop around. This is one aircraft the Beaufighter cannot outmaneuver. I've had to pull back on the throttles, however, because I don't want to, at the moment he's not going particularly fast, and I don't want to overshoot him and drive myself in front of those 20mm cannons. Pulled the throttle back again to 57%, and we're playing the rolling game at the moment. Now I'm not going to get a good enough angle, so I turn away and go back to WEP, so I can get enough speed up to do another loop and try and fall back on his tail again. Shoot underneath, kill the engine. He turns back towards me. I have to go back into another half loop, dive back again. And this is largely rinse and repeat here. Until one of us can get guns on the other, we are stuck in this stance. Take a spike at him there, the shots miss. I didn't quite have the nose in position for it, but this time I do. Shots on, ripple across both wings and the centre fuselage, take it back into a loop. Reinitiate the dive. Now I think I've damaged something at this point because he hasn't attempted to go back into another turning wall like he was at. Continuing fire. I thought I might have had him here, but he ends up pulling it up and making it over top of the mountain. So, throttle back up, go back in. Now I start trying to focus out his engine nacelles here in a second. I've tried to confirm a hit, make sure his tail gunner is removed. That has been done. Now I'm working that right engine over as hard as I can. Now if you find yourself in a position where you can safely engage a Beaufighter from behind, that right engine, or the left engine, it doesn't really matter which one you choose, is the spot to go aiming for, and I am trying to hit both. Those engines sit nearly on top of the Beaufighter's fuel tank. They're also a braking support point for the wings, as well as having the engine and the landing gear confined in one very small area. If you can get a critical hit in that, you've basically got a 1 in 4 shot of doing something absolutely devastating to the aircraft. Again, was hoping he would go down. No such luck, I'm afraid. Re-dive back towards the ground, a close distance to him. I've obviously done enough damage that he can no longer manoeuvre. I've got reported multiple critical hits on the aircraft in that particular area, hits to the fuel tank, so he's likely got a fuel leak at the moment. I have done damage to his landing gear already once. And unfortunately, that's me out. Now this is one of the problems I noticed with the Hawk G. Its guns jam exceptionally easy. Until you have the gun upgrades, this thing has massive issues with jamming. What's actually happened here is I've jammed up my left-hand side 7.62mm machine gun bank. With those two guns jammed out, while I have 400 rounds of ammunition left on board, I can't use them, so I'm out of ammo. So I'm in the process of RTB, and I've just got my fingers crossed that between doing crippling damage to his landing gear, busting his fuel tank, damaging his ailerons, his flaps, his engine itself. Between all the systems I've damaged, it'll be an unsafe aircraft for him to be able to land. The landing gear is the one I'm hoping on the most. With it being crippled, in theory he shouldn't be able to drop his landing gear, which means he's going to have to belly land, and with a critically damaged aircraft trying to belly land at low speeds, it's highly likely that he'll smash his plane on the runway and it'll be unrepairable. Unfortunately, what I'm hoping will happen to the Boo Fighter also happens to the F4U that I rescued from the Boo Fighter just a few moments before. That's him ahead trying to make a landing on the runway. As soon as he dropped the aircraft below 300 kilometers an hour to go to put down, the plane immediately listed into the left and drove him straight into the side of the runway. Unrecoverable, which means I'm the last aircraft left alive. Now, being the last aircraft left alive in your team does come with a few problems, especially in a match at low level like this. At the moment, there were 5 enemy AI in this match. Only one of them has been eliminated. The remaining 4 are all on my tail. The last remaining aircraft on the enemy team is a Spitfire Mark IIB that is repaired and is on its way to the runway now. Thankfully, the Boo Fighter 7 did smack it down on the runway, and I got the kill for that on the way home. Now, I have no ammo in this Hawk to be able to fight the incoming AI, which are only a couple of kilometers behind me. I have to land. I have to get a rearm so I'm ready to take on the Spitfire. So I'm now completely reliant on the base AAA to deal with the AI. Drop the plane speed down, rock and roll it a little bit to bleed off as much as I can. Full brakes, being very careful not to drop the nose. I do not want this thing to nose over. I cannot afford to be on the ground any longer than it is absolutely necessary. And here comes the first AI. And there goes the first AI. Second one coming in. There goes the base alarms as they're getting close. Third one's there. Come on, AAA, you can do it. Get my repair. Yep, Tetsuo's out of the match. Ryan's coming in. Wheels up, fold the landing gear in. I take a shot from Ryan. It's busted a hole straight in my cooling system, but that's alright. I don't really care at the moment. I'm on critical speed at the moment, so I just stall the plane over and put it into a dive to get underneath him where he can't get his guns on me for a second pass. Alright, now I've got speed up. I can get ready to turn around. Combat flaps on, move to engage. Spitfire has just lit up. And AAA does its work again. And the fourth AI that was coming in also got taken out, but I didn't see that one. So with the base AAA doing an excellent job of getting rid of all the AI Terminators that were stalking me, it is now down to me in a stock P-36G versus a Spitfire 2B. Target's a kilometre out and closing. Just not approaching him directly. I want enough angle so I can loop underneath, or turn underneath and go straight into a loop. Combat flaps on. Aileron roll mid-loop to fall in on his tail. Back off on the WEP. I do not want to overshoot. Continuing the turn rotation tight. The Hawk G should even stock be able to outturn a Spitfire 2. Shots on. Run that 50 caliber across the plane hard. He loops it over and messes up the turn. And into the ground. Kill confirmed. And that was the end of the battle. Just quickly wish through a good game. And let's go through to the results. So a slow start that went on to a pretty epic end. Second place for the team with 2 kills and 1 assist. First place went to a A20G that got 19 ground targets. The awards were Final Blow, Terror of the Sky, Bulletproof, Balancer and On Hand, 33,835 Silver Lions and 4,150 mod research points, which is about 600 research points short of what I needed to fully elite this aircraft in a single match. If I hadn't jammed that gun and had just enough to maybe kill one or two of those AI before I landed, I probably would have been able to finish it off in a single hit. The very next match I played after this was all I needed to finish that off, and with the completion of this aircraft being spaded, the only aircraft left in Era 1 US that I have not fully upgraded is the second PBY Catalina. All Era 2 aircraft are done, all Era 3 aircraft are done, and I think I only have 3 aircraft in Era 4 to complete. So my US tree is becoming very, very, very close to finally being done. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.